y'all. Welcome to Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table. I'm your host, Ceci Diaz. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Benevolence Podcast is a ministry where we uplift and encourage through testimonials and conversations that are important in our Christian walk. I pray that as you tune in every week, you are blessed, empowered, and encouraged to be the best version of yourself. You are tuning into episode 9, Year of Intention. On this episode of Benevolence, and in light of the approaching new year, I'd like to reflect on the past year and discuss what's been on my heart for the year ahead. This pandemic brought so much, and it has also taken so much. So to make this self-reflection a little easier, I'm following a set of 3 points. So here's the first one. Any highlights or accomplishments or memories of the year 2020? So, first highlight, I know this year was kind of crazy. There was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of shifts. The pandemic really hit hard on our family and our friends and everything around us, our world. But if we look on the bright side of things, there are quite a few highlights and accomplishments and memories that I would like to share with you all. So the first highlight is obviously the continuation of Benevolence Podcast throughout this pandemic. And to be honest, it may seem that I have it all together and that I have balanced out my life in order to do benevolence, be a mom, be a wife, be a teacher and all of that. But there are many times it gets really, really hard. And when life or insecurities or challenges have said no to benevolence, thank God that He said yes. And I'm just so grateful for the love and support from each and every one of you and from my family and friends. So thank you. Another highlight was seeing my daughter start kindergarten. This year, she was blessed with an amazing teacher, one that I know personally and love with all of my heart. And it's truly been such a blessing for Victoria to be in the school that she's in. I have good friends that are in the same school, and I also have my BFF, Nisha. She also works at the school. So it definitely puts my mind at ease, and it's just great to know that there are people there who are actually, that I know, that are keeping an eye out for Victoria. So it's just definitely been a great year in terms of Victoria starting kindergarten. And she's learned so much, and we've seen her grow into a wonderful little girl. And I'm just so thankful for everyone that has been part of her school year so far. Another highlight is being able to live, and this sounds very weird, but to live in my home and start projects that I've always wanted to do in my house. So I've been in my house for almost 5 years, and there's just so much that I've wanted to do, but because of life, normal life, I never got an opportunity to do it. So this quarantine, although it was very hard on all of us, myself included, I have been able to do a lot of DIY projects and organization projects, and that was a major, major accomplishment during this crazy year. So definitely a highlight. Another highlight was having my 2 brother-in-laws, David and Gio, move in with us for this season. Having them around and spending time with them has also been amazing. They're seeing us grow. We're seeing them grow. We've grown closer, and just having to see them on a daily basis and spend quality time together is definitely something that we didn't have before. So that is definitely a major highlight in 2020. Another major highlight is being able to spend even more time with Anthony and Victoria. Anthony was given the opportunity to work from home, and so we definitely see more of Daddy at home. And it's not that we didn't see Daddy, but he would get home at 5, and then it was just like our afternoons and our evenings just went by super, super fast. And with him being home, we were just able to see him more. And even though he's there working, we can see him. So it was definitely a great year in that aspect, where we have the time to be together more and create memories together. If the pandemic would have never hit, we would have never been able to spend all this time together. So definitely 2020 brought its bad, but also brought its good. And those are basically my major highlights for the year 2020. Now, moving on to my next point is game changers. So what are the unexpected events that have shifted your priorities? So here we go. Definitely the pandemic was an ultimate shift of priorities. I have been able to appreciate those around me. I've been able to appreciate my home, my family, and my friends. You know, in the norm of life, we often forget to appreciate the small things. We forget to appreciate life and how easily it can be taken away. Thankfully, COVID did not knock on our doorstep this year, and I pray for healing for those that are suffering from COVID and for those that have suffered through it. You know, my heart definitely and genuinely goes out to all of you. You know, my priorities have shifted because I'm now appreciative of all that God has given us as a family. Definitely appreciative. My husband's always been like a germaphobe, but I have not. So being more cautious, being more, aware of things that we touch and touching our face and, wearing our mask at all times and things like that. Like those were things that were definitely not part of my life prior to 2020. But now it's funny because, little humor, but Anthony's like, well, now you see where like there's a method to my madness. And he says that all the time. There's a method to my madness. 2020, this is it. This is why I'm a germaphobe. This is why we can't, do the things that we used to do because of germs. So definitely something that has shifted my priorities this year. Another shift was seeing our divided country. And, before this year, I've always known that this country was divided. But definitely 2020 brought a whole new perspective. And it hurts to see the injustice that goes on. It hurts to see my fellow Black brothers and sisters have to continuously fight for justice against systemic racism, and racism in general. It hurts to see immigration controversy in every corner of our country. It hurts to see those suffering, those that have come from other countries, those whose desires to live in the land of the free and to live the American dream, only to have their dreams and jobs and families ripped away from them. It hurts to see our country hurting. And my priorities have shifted because now I pay more attention to these issues. And it wasn't that I was, putting a side eye to these issues. These issues have always been around, but I feel like this year definitely God shifted my perspective and it's like, no, my people are hurting and you are a Christian and you're a Christian woman of God and you need to pay attention to these issues and continuously pray for God to continue healing our land. So that's definitely something that has shifted this year in 2020. Another ultimate shift was just recently. Unfortunately, a family member of ours passed away from COVID-19 last month, and it definitely shifted perspective on life and how much we take things for granted. We focus too much on success and the come up that we forget to value life, and we lose sight of the things that matter. And my heart goes out to my family and to all of those around the world whose lives were taken by this virus. And I just hope that things will get better and that 2021 can bring new opportunities of health and that people can recover quickly from this virus, because it was definitely one that hit home. And I would never want any other family to witness or to go through the loss of a loved one due to any sickness or disease, but especially from COVID. So yeah. Another shift was my job, believe it or not. And for those of you that do not know this, I am a high school English teacher. I've been at my high school for about 4 years. And this year was definitely one for the books. Everything that we focused on as teachers, strategies, curriculum, etc., was out the door when this pandemic hit. It hurt to know that we couldn't go back to school in March. It hurt to know that I might never see all of my students again. It hurts to see a fight between like society, teachers, and government officials. It hurts to see government leaders not put teachers at the highest priority when it comes to the new school year. It hurts to not be able to see all of my students in the classroom again. It hurts to see my students suffer academically, mentally, and emotionally from behind the computer screen. And I can't do anything about it. It hurts. My perspective has definitely shifted. I don't know what the future holds, but I have definitely learned to take advantage of every opportunity I have with my students. I may be the only adult that they have contact with. I may be the only familiar face they see on a daily basis. I may be their only hope. And I pray that every day that I teach, that my students will see the light of Jesus, that they may hold on to that little ounce of hope and succeed in everything that they do. And lastly, and really quickly, another major shift was definitely our health. I feel like me and my family, we just don't put our health as our priority. And we got a couple scares this year with some family members of ours. And definitely this was an eye-opener for us, where we want to live healthy. We want to put our body first. We want to treat our body with kindness and treat our body, with respect and love. And all that self-love is great, but when we are not putting the right things in our body, it really, really brings it down. And we've seen that, especially this year. This quarantine definitely did not do good for us health-wise. And I've had a couple things this year that I've come across about my health, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing all that I can so that Victoria can have me longer. So definitely there has been a shift in my priorities. So that was definitely a game changer for 2021. And lastly, the third thing I want to talk about is just a quick word of the year for the year 2021. This year I've learned about myself. I've gotten closer to my family and have appreciated things that I never took notice of before the pandemic. I've witnessed the illness take the lives of 300,000 people in the United States and more all over the world. I've experienced a divide among our country and among families. And we've lost a lot, but we've also gained so much more. And last year, my word for 2020 was breathe. And no lie, I believe that God gave me just that. Despite the circumstances and challenges, I believe that I was able to breathe. He literally put a pause button on our daily life, our daily routine, and allowed us to see life in a different way. And I was able to just change my perspective during 2020. So I thank you, Jesus, for allowing me to breathe this year. Because although there was a lot of negativity and COVID and all of that, I was definitely able to breathe. And I was able to heal in a sense of my anxieties. And although I did have some, anxieties throughout the year, and I'm not saying that it fully went away, but I was able to go through it and grow through those situations. So this year, for 2021, obviously in a few days, my word for the year is going to be intention. And that's the name of my episode, Year of Intention. I want to go into 2021 being intentional in every aspect of my life. The word intention means an aim or plan. So basically a goal, a mark. And it also has a second definition, which is the healing process of a wound. And I believe that many of us this year have been hurt in many different aspects of our lives. And the year 2021 is definitely a year of intention, a year where we're going to go through a healing process of whatever wound we experienced in the year 2020. So this is how I want to live my life intentionally for 2021. I want to live a life of intention with my family. I want to cherish the moments that we've spent together. I want to appreciate life and continue to be the best version of myself for my daughter and for my family. I want to live a life of intention with my friends and those who I encounter every day. I want to be more available to others and see through the eyes of Jesus and see with the eyes of compassion and that heart of compassion towards others. Even if it's just to lend an ear or to be a voice of reason or even spending some quality time, I want to be more intentional in that aspect. I look back at some amazing moments in my life and I'm like, those were the good old days. Well, I want to live each day like it was a good old day. And I want to be there for more people and reach out to more people than ever before. So that's one of my intentions. I want to be more intentional in my job. I want to continue to learn more so that I can give more to my students, to strive to be the best that I can be so that I can encourage my students to keep moving forward. I want to be more intentional in appreciating the little things in life, to push aside what I see as success, all the insecurities, and just appreciate the now, appreciate the moment. I want to be more intentional with my body. I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, and I want to live long. So definitely going to push myself more in that aspect as well. I want to be more intentional with Benevolence Podcast. I want to continue to create a space where you and I can grow, not in our relationship with others, but with our relationship with Jesus. There is so much in store for Benevolence Podcast, and I can't wait for this new chapter. And finally, I want to be more intentional with my relationship with Jesus. My aim is to focus on God and live intentionally for Him in every aspect of my life. I want to read the Word more. I want to pray more. I want to seek the presence of God more. I want to serve more in my church and live intentionally for Him. So as we finalize the last week of 2020, despite the circumstances, the challenges, the losses, and the gains, what do you want to be intentional about in 2021? What are some things that need a shift in perspective? What are some things that you need to erase? And what are some things that you need to focus more on? Even if being intentional is not your word for 2021, I challenge you to give that one word that you want to live by for the new year. Like, find that word and stick to it. Put it on a sticky note, put it on your mirror, put it in your car. Don't worry about resolutions. Don't worry about those materialistic things. Think about your experiences this year. Reflect on each aspect of your life. Reflect on what you've lost. Reflect on what you've gained. Whether it's your family, your friends, your career, your job, your dreams, your goals. Find that one thing that you want to focus on this year. I pray that you are blessed this new year with your family and your loved ones. I pray that in this new year, you find your purpose and you accomplish your dreams. And I pray that you live intentionally for Jesus. So, remember that we may not know what the future holds, but we know who holds our future. So Happy New Year from me and my family. I look forward to 2021 and cannot wait to continue growing with you in this new year. Thank you all for tuning into Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Benevolence Podcast. Benevolence Podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcast. And stay tuned for next Monday's episode of Benevolence. You don't want to miss it. Happy New Year, guys. Bye.